Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Rajesh here. I would like to show you the knee examination today. I would like to invite Mr. Alap. Thanks Alap for allowing me to do the knee examination. Can you two face in front? I would like to start my examination by in a standing position to look for the alignment of the leg. Can you able to take the feet together? So in this you can see there is no valgus or varus deformity. Can you be a little bit straight up the leg? I would like to see if there is any high arch or is there any flat feet present. So grossly there is no flat feet or high arch. Can you able to stand on tiptoes? So you can see a very nicely formed arch. Okay, you can relax now. Okay. Can you able to now face behind? Okay. At the same time, I would like to see whether the heel is in varus or valgus. So this looks like a neutral in position at the moment. I would like to take position of the popliteal fossa also to look for any mass present or not. So there is no mass present at the moment. Now, can you just face again? Can you able to walk on tiptoes now? Yes. Yeah. Now you face on this side again, and can you able to walk on your heels? This I am testing for grossly. Is there any neurological deficit present or not? So grossly, all the myotomes looks intact by testing the power. Okay, if you can face on this. Now I would like to test his core stability to assess whether there is a any ACL prone injuries or not. Now can you able to stand on one leg and can you able to bend the knee down like this? Okay, so in this, okay, relax. Can you do on the opposite side also? Yes. So if you see there is some internal rotation of the knee, yeah, you can. So which can have a prone to ACL injury in future possibility. In this we are looking at the internal rotation of the knee, whether the pelvis is dropping on one side or not, and if there is an imbalance or not. Okay. Now I would like to ask him to lie down on a couch with face up in supine position. I would like to expose the adequately to look for any gross wasting of the muscles, especially the quadriceps and lower limb calf muscles. So there is no gross wasting as such. At the same time, I would like to get advantage of looking for any limb discrepancy. So which can be done by assessing squaring the pelvis by palpating the ASIs, and at the same time look for the medial malleus at the same level to assess for the limb discrepancy. Then look for any scars, sinuses or any flexion contracture of the knee which goes in favor of hamstring contracture. So there is no flexion contracture as such here. Okay. There is no swelling as such, there is no redness as such. Now I would like to exclude if there is any problem coming from the hip or the spine. So for the hip pathology to exclude, I would like to flex the hip in 90 degree, internally rotate or externally rotate. In this position, if there is any pain, that indicates it's a hip pathology. At the same time, I would like to do the axial loading as such. In this, I am pushing the femoral head to the acetabulum. If he has any pathology in the hip, he will have a lot of pain. So this excludes there is no hip pathology, because most of hip pathologists will have radiating pain down the knee. At the same time, I will do the grossly neurological examination of the spine to exclude there is nothing pathology which is causing pain radiating down the knee. So grossly I will check the sensations first. Alap, can you able to feel the sensation same? Can you feel? This is L4, this is L5. Can you feel the sensations? This is S1. Can you feel the sensations? And this is L3. So sensations are intact. So grossly I would like to test the power. Can you grossly flex the ankle and hold it there strongly? This one also. So this is quite strong. I would like to assess the EHL and EDL. Can you push your toes up? Hold it tight there. Push it down. Down towards me. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So far the power is good. Can you bend the knee stronger towards you? Kick harder. Very good. The power is fine at the moment. Can you bend the knee? Can you kick up? Can you lift the leg up? Down, up, down. So overall the power is okay. So this confirms that there is no pathology of the hip or the spine. So now we concentrated on the knee examination as such. So on the knee examination, I would like to see for any swelling, any redness, or any scars or sinuses. So grossly there is no swelling or redness as such. Now I would like to find a pinpoint tenderness to locate any pathology of the knee. So on palpation, I would like to start with lateral femoral condyle over here, lateral joint line, then come bit distally, which is the lateral tibial condyle. Okay, go bit posteriorly, which is the fibula head, where the lateral collateral ligament is attached. Then come anterior to that, there is a Gerdy's tubercle, where the IT band is inserted. If there is any tenderness over the IT band, that indicates there might be a IT band syndrome. Then come anteriorly over the tibial tuberosity. If there is a tenderness over there, that indicates it might be a old Osgood-Schlatter's disease. Then come proximal to the tibial tuberosity is the patella tendon. If there is any tenderness over there, there will be a indication of patellar tendinitis. Then go bit medially and distally is your tibial condyle, where the attachment of the MCL and pes anserinus tendon is present. So if there is tenderness over that area, it indicates there is a pes anserinus tendinitis. Then come over the proximal part, which is the medial joint line. If there is any tenderness over that joint line, that indicates there might be some pathology of the medial meniscus. Then come proximal to that is the middle femoral condyle, where the MCL gets originates from that area. So this pinpoints the particular site, anatomical site of pathology. Then I would like to do the patellofemoral joint assessment by patella gliding test. So you need to glide the patella medially and laterally and ask for any tenderness over the facets. So to palpate the facet medially, I would like to push the patella laterally and try to go underneath the patella to find is there any tenderness. The same thing, push the patella medially and find the lateral facet of the patella and go underneath the patella to find a pinpoint tenderness. So if there is a tenderness, that shows there might be some patellofemoral pathology. Now I'm going to do a retropatellar tenderness test, where you have to press the patella into the trochlea and the femoral condyle. If there is a pain, that indicates there is some patellofemoral tenderness or pathology. Lastly, I would like to do the patella grinding test, where I would need to push the patella inferiorly over the trochlea, and I'll ask him to contract the quadriceps muscle. Can you able to contract? You have to watch for any tenderness or pain by doing this thing. If he has that, that means he might be having a patellofemoral pathology. Okay. After this, I would like to test for any effusion. So now effusion can be a gross or it can be a mild. So in gross effusion, obviously there will be all fullness over both the pouches, medial and lateral pouches, and as well as over the suprapatellar area. So to look for the gross effusion, you have to just push the patella down by tapping on the patella anterior to posteriorly. So if there is a gross effusion, the patella will float, and that's called the Ballot-Table test. If there is a small effusion only, then what you have to do is you have to milk the fluid from distal to proximal, and at the same time feel for any bulge on the medial side. If there is a bulge, that means there is a small fluid there. Second thing, you can push the patella down, or you can empty the fluid from the suprapatellar pouch and the lateral side of the patella, push the fluid on the medial side and look for any bulge or fullness on the medial side. So these are the few tests where we can able to identify a fluid which is present with a gross or a mild effusion. Now I would like to test for the meniscus. So for the meniscus, there are two meniscus, one is medial side and one lateral side. So medial meniscus, to test, the commonest test which I do is McMurray's test, where you hyperflex the knee, palpate the middle meniscus in between femoral condyle and tibial condyle, okay, and at the same time external rotate and a valgus force and try to extend the knee. If you feel any pop sound or a clicking sound or a pain, that indicates the middle meniscus injury. The same thing for the lateral meniscus, hyperflex the knee, internally rotate and a valgus force At the same time, palpate the lateral joint line where the lateral meniscus is present and try to extend the knee. If you feel the pop or click sound or a pain experienced by the patient, that shows it's a lateral meniscus injury. Now I would like to assess the anterior cruciate ligament. For the anterior cruciate ligament, I would like to do the anterior drawer test. The knee is flexed at 90-degree position. I will sit on the foot of the patient and ask him to relax the hamstring muscles. Both the jaw or thumb should be over the tibial tuberosity and try to push the tibia anteriorly. If there is any laxity or injury to the anterior cruciate ligament, you can feel the step or you can feel the giveaway sensation of the tibia. The another very sensitive test when there is a huge effusion or if in acute injury, the most reliable test is the Lachman test. So Lachman test can be done with the knee held in 15 degree of flexion, little bit external rotation, stabilize the distal part of the femur, and the proximal part of the tibia is lifted anteriorly, which I have shown by pushing the tibia anteriorly. You can feel there is a laxity of the anterior cruciate ligament if the tibia moves very easily. Another way, you can support the knee with the help of your thigh. If the thigh is very big or a person is very big, then you can just stabilize the thigh and then you can push or lift the tibia anteriorly and look for any laxity. This is for the anterior cruciate ligament. Then for the posterior cruciate ligament, on inspection only you can able to assess whether there is any posterior cruciate ligament injury or not. So I would like to keep both the knees in same position and look for tibial tuberosity. To look for any sag of the tibial tuberosity, which is these two. If there is any posterior cruciate ligament, the tibia will sag down. That is one test to be done. On inspection, you can assess the posterior cruciate ligament. The another way is you hold the knee in again 90 degree, push the tibia posteriorly and look for any posterior translation of the tibia. That also indicates it's a posterior cruciate ligament injury. Another very complex injury which is commonly occurs in road traffic accidents is posterolateral corner of the knee, which includes lateral collateral ligament, popliteus muscle, and most probably posterior cruciate ligament. So in this, if you see, you have to hold the knee in 90 degree again and externally rotate the foot. If there is any posterior cruciate injury, the tibia will slide laterally and posteriorly. Another way to find out the posterolateral corner injury is to do the recurvatum test. So this is done by holding the knee in extension and lifting the thumb, great toe up. If there is any posterolateral corner injury, the tibia will rotate posteriorly and laterally. Now for the collateral ligaments, which are two, like medial collateral ligament and lateral collateral ligaments, I would like to hold the knee in 15 to 20 degree of flexion, give a valgus force, and at the same time assess for any opening of the medial side joint line or if there is any tenderness. So that indicates it's a medial collateral ligament. The same thing I can do by giving a varus force to the knee and opening of the lateral side of the joint line, which assesses the lateral collateral ligament. If you do in an extension of the knee and give a valgus or varus force and assess for medial and lateral collateral ligament, then there will be if there is opening of the joints, that indicates there is a medial or lateral collateral ligament along with the posterior capsule injury also, or a posterior cruciate ligament injury also. Another test which I would like to do, it is for the Aubert test, which is for the IT band syndrome. Can you able to lie down on one side? So IT band syndrome, which inserts over the Gerdy's tubercle. So I would like to look for any pinpoint tenderness over the Gerdy's tubercle. I would like to extend the hip now and try to slowly put it down over the table. If it is not able to put it down the knee and if it holds in one position only, that indicates there is a contracture of the IT band syndrome. Can you able to lie down one side? So I would like to now complete my examination by looking at the foot pulses, dorsalis pedis and posterior tibialis. So this overall completes my knee examination. Thank you.